Hello everyone, you're welcome to this news hour on Equinoxe Television, live from my headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bable Jonathan. Lawyers and gender rights activists decry the violation of the law in the case of Conso Antoinette, the pregnant woman arrested and detained in the Boya Central Prison in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. The Boya High Court has once more adjourned the matter. This is the second adjournment, and the case will be coming up on the 9th of November 2021. And out of the country, Sudan's coup leader General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan says the military seized power to prevent a civil war. Protesters have continued marching on the streets of the country's capital, Khartoum, and bridges, roads and shops are closed. We begin this newscast on the case of Conso Antoinette, the pregnant woman who has been in detention at the Boya Central Prison for more than 3 weeks. Today, she was arrested in connection to a relationship she had with a leading non-state armed group fighter known as General No Pity in the northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and she's been in detention for more than 3 weeks today, and lawyers are decrying the violation of the law in that case. The habeas corpus application was on the table of judges of the Boya High Court today, and this is the second time, and of course it was adjourned to the 9th of November 2021. Take a listen to Barristers Tamfu Richard and the other lawyers who are defending Conso Antoinette.
Barrister Ewule Lyonga, as applicant, filing an application before the court under a special procedure in the criminal procedure code known as habeas corpus. But to our greatest dismay, I will not be an overstatement to say that what is happening today is beyond understanding with respect to our criminal procedure code. We have the impression that
was Barrister Tamfu Richard speaking there, and we also heard from Barrister Njong Henry and Abia Hilary, who are part of the legal minds, the 12 of them in number, defending Conso Antoinette, the pregnant woman who has been in detention for more than 3 weeks today. Now let's take a listen to some civil society and gender rights activists who are fighting for the rights, for the freedom of Conso Antoinette.
I'm Bayefrida Ibai. I'm a frontline defender and a peace builder. As a frontline defender for women and children, that is one of the reasons we are here today, because we represent a number of women whose voices have been working behind the scenes to see that our sister's condition is improved. We are here because of her condition. She's pregnant. She's a pregnant woman, and it is very important for us to know about her welfare. That is one of the reasons we came here today. And unfortunately, she didn't appear in court, and we are hoping that inside the next few days we should be able to see her. We just want to see her condition. We see where we can come in, either with baby clothes, with medical assistance, mama kits, so that we can really help her. That is our main issue here, to know about her welfare. Let her be okay psychologically, physically, and mentally, because she's 8 months pregnant. So a lot of women are out there giving us their support, and we believe that with this support that we're having from women all over the Northwest and the Southwest in particular, we believe that if we mount a bit of pressure, that we want to see her, we believe that something should be done, because it is not right for somebody who is heavily pregnant and is mentally down to feel alone. So we want to let her know that we are with her in spirit, all the women in the Southwest and the Northwest, and we have in spirit. Let her stay strong wherever she is. If she listens to this, let her know that us, the women, especially the women from the different task forces in Boya and in the Northwest region, are with her.
We appreciate that on the 9th, the court really produce her. We want to see her state. We want to see her in person. That is our main problem. We really want to see her. So we are still saying that the court should produce her. We cannot be talking on air like that without we are not seeing the person. We want to see her person being in court on the 9th.
and gender rights activists speaking there on the case of Consul Antoinette and barristers Tamfu Richard, Ewule Lyonga, John Henry, Abia Hillary, and others fighting for the freedom, for the rights of the pregnant woman who has been in detention for close to 3 weeks today. And barrister Ewule Lyonga, who filed the case, the habeas corpus application in the Boya High Court, is calling on all to come on board in order to avoid what he qualifies as a second Wazizi. Wazizi is a journalist of CMTV who died in detention, and his case pulled on in court for close to more than 1 year, and it is only after Equinoxe television revealed that he was dead that it was known to the general public and even the lawyers. And barrister Ewule Lyonga is calling on all to come on board to prevent such a situation happening to Consul Antoinette, pregnant with a pregnancy of about 8 months and has been in detention in deplorable conditions for more than 3 weeks. Today we shall be following up that case. Now let's talk about hate speech, and the term known as hate speech, of course, which is an ill in our society today, is said to be greatly contributing to the destruction of communities in African countries. According to organs of the United Nations, hate speech needs to be eradicated immediately, especially in Central African countries, for it is one of the key factors which are fueling tensions between African nations and between Africans. And this is why the UN has organized a summit on hate speech taking place in Douala. Details in this report by Charles Ekome.
Speech is gradually becoming a major problem in the African society. This growing phenomenon has contributed to fueling tensions between individuals and communities, with rising tensions emanating from tribalism, xenophobia, and racism. It's for this reason that the United Nations Office for Central Africa, UNOCA, and the Economic Community for Central Africa, ECAS, in collaboration with the Cameroon government and the United Nations Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa, are hosting a regional forum to raise awareness and build the capacity of media practitioners towards preventing and combating hate speech in the region. Francis Luceni Fall, the representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations in Central Africa, believes that Africans should take a retrospective look at its history in regards to hate speech.
Ces discours de haine ne sont pas de nature à consolider l'unité.
Hate speech continues to hinder the progress of Central African countries. I want to remind the population of what happened in Rwanda because of a split-second mistake from the media, which instigated hate speech. This caused a genocide between the Tutsi and Hutu tribes of the country. Religious authorities were also present at the forum to share their point of view on the subject. Imam Ibrahim Bombo, the president of the Islamic Union in Cameroon, believes that moral decadence is the only way of eradicating hate speech.
Le rôle des communautés religieuses repose sur 3 piliers. Le premier,
the role of the religious community relies on 3 pillars. The first pillar is that religious authorities must inculcate holistic moral values to its congregations. The second pillar is that religious authorities must prevent hate speech at all costs. The third pillar has to do with crisis management. Religious authorities must know how to tackle this phenomenon justly.
La conscience est même dans cette foule.
Renowned journalist Janvier Jikam says this initiative will remind journalists of their role in society.
Un forum comme celui-ci a pour importance de recadrer la presse, de recadrer le journaliste, de l'amener à faire son.
A forum like this is meant to restructure the media landscape in Central African countries. It is also meant to show journalists the important role they have to play in society vis-à-vis moderating and using the right language to ensure a peaceful environment so we can build our societies without inflaming issues.
Des messages qui soient de nature à détruire les sociétés, mais plutôt des messages qui soient de nature à permettre à la société de se construire.
All that said, the forum will be running from the 26th to the 29th of October 2021. Hopefully, this sensitization initiative will help pacify media practitioners, especially now when Central African countries, such as Cameroon, are in a deep, heated crisis.
Several shops in one of the largest markets in Cameroon's West Regional Chieftain Bafoussam have been reduced to ashes by wild flames. The fire incident started at about 4 a.m. today. Smanjikan Gabriel reports.
It was a difficult start of the day for business persons at Marche Bay in Bafoussam, 2 subdivision of the West region. About 10 shops were burned into ashes in the early hours of Tuesday morning. The zone that was touched by this inferno deals in the sales of African artifacts.
They say that there's fire in the market in our own line. So I try not to rush and come. And when I came here now, there was a lot of fire here that in such a way that we could not even temper to rescue some of our property. So we were helpless. So we were here now running up and down, and then after that now, the fire brigade came, and they were struggling now with the populations to see that they have quenched the fire.
Even though the cause of the fire is not yet known, many in this line say if the stores were not built with makeshift materials, the fire wouldn't have destroyed many things in the market.
In my own boutique, where I kept this dry fish, so I lost about 800,000 francs because I came back with the fish yesterday. So I lost about 800,000 francs. So, but the cause of the fire we have not yet known because we don't know that how it started. So we don't know. So we are still looking for it. So we don't know anything to do now. It's just that we leave everything to God.
The business persons are now calling on local authorities of the Bafoussam 2 Council to construct modern infrastructures for the people trading at Marche Bay in Bafoussam. The Army Rescue Unit helped the business persons to put out the flames.
Coming up, Malak Glory takes us to Mayobanyu in the Adamawa region of the Republic of Cameroon, and she's going to show us the bad state of roads in that part of the country. Her report.
The population of Ngaunda, the Mayobanyu subdivision in the Adamawa region, suffer from the absence of bridges and bad roads, which affects the economy of the locality. Roads to markets are inaccessible. These roads, which is highly solicited, especially on Tuesdays, which are market days by business persons, transporting beef and other products, is aggravating yearly.
La zone de Bagno Bujumbura,
Most localities in the Banyo subdivision are business areas for us. But today, with the present situation of the bad roads, which are inaccessible and which lack maintenance for long period of time, we are cut off from our areas of production. The people use either motorbikes to pass through the water or are being carried by some able youths of the village. These youths also transport goods and their bikes, which are either damaged by the bad roads or in the water. We suffer here each year when it rains. We cannot cross to the other side of the village because the water is full. We thank God for these youths who help to cross the people and our goods. Activities come to a standstill in this locality when the river Ngaunda is full after a heavy rainfall. The mayor, however, hopes that the situation will ameliorate as there are upcoming projects.
Pour pouvoir non seulement réhabiliter la route Bagno-Bujumbura et
we have projects to launch activities for the construction of roads and bridges in these localities coming 2022 and some investment in the area as well. The locality of Ngaunda, just like elsewhere in Cameroon, go through the difficulties of bad road networks. They therefore call on the authorities to step in order to alleviate them from their suffering.
Sudan school leader General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan said the military seized power on Monday to prevent a civil war. He added that the deposed Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok was being kept at the general's house for his own safety and would be allowed home soon Protesters are continuing for a second day in the capital, Khartoum. Roads, bridges, and shops are closed. Phone and internet links are also disrupted. At least 10 people are reported to have been killed since the unrest started. General Buran said he dissolved civilian rule, arrested political leaders, and called a state of emergency as political groups had been inciting civilians against the security forces. Talking Point is up next. Our guest today, Adolf Mambo, is a youth leader coming from Bimbia in the southwest region of Cameroon. You're welcome.
Thank you.
What's the state of Bimbia today as far as security is concerned?
Actually, I can say Bimbia is very stable with a level of security, considering the fact that we have a military base there at the B, actually, and it is ensuring that all securities are being put in place. So for now, we have actually recorded no insecurity conditions in Bimbia to say.
All right, we're talking about development now. Bimbia in general, and Mabeta in particular, is one of the or some of the places that are seriously enclaved across the country. There are many places like that, but today we are talking about Bimbia. What's the situation of development in that part of the country? The roads, the other social amenities.
Okay, actually I can say that development is 0% at the level of Bimbia, especially Mabeta, because of the road condition. We have a road actually that links from Bimbia to Tiko, which is a major road that we know have been given on contract to a certain contractor since 2017, which the road was being approved. And that particular road, since 2017, little or no work had been done by the particular contractor in question, right up to the point where the population had to protest in 2019, which we could find one of the chiefs of Bimbia, Chief Ekum, could come out loudly on TV and decry the inability of the contractor that was awarded the contract to work on the road together with the administrators of Bimbia, the DO to be precise. And this particular road links to Mabeta, whereby in Mabeta, as to say, I want to tell you that Mabeta supplies 80% of the crayfish that we see in Cameroon. And not just in Cameroon, it also supplies the West Africa to say. That's
why it is qualified as the village of prawns.
That is why it's qualified as the village of prawns. And this particular road had hindered a lot of development and transactions. Easy accessibility is not there, and thus it raises even the prices of the crayfish and even limits the revenue that had to enter into the council of Bimbia, leading to a whole block of development.
Taking the prawns and other products out of the locality is more or less an uphill task.
It's a nightmare, I can say. It's a nightmare. Because if you look at the worst is the rainy seasons. During the rainy seasons, it is practically inaccessible to get to those areas. And one thing we have to note is that Bimbia is the food basket of Limbe, because all the farms, all the plantains, all the cassava and the rest is coming from that particular zone to feed the population of Limbe, particularly before other places at large.
And of course, this is resulting to other problems, notably concerning young people who are striving to get involved into some projects, developmental projects, and here and there.
Yeah, exactly as you said, because there is one of these projects that the government, through the Minister of Youth and Civic Education, Minister Mununa Fotso, that he awarded to the youths of that subdivision, which that project is located at Dikolo. It is called a pilot village project, whereby 50 youths of that particular subdivision were being recruited to pilot the affairs of that project. But as I can tell you, it is practically inaccessible. A 10-hectare of land plantation had been given for the youths to exploit, whereby they will empower themselves through that particular project. But as I can tell you, it's very difficult now to really meet up with the objective of that particular project because of the road. The divisional delegate of youth and civic education in FACO, Mr. Mbua, they have worked everything out to even keep the youths in order to say, okay, but the road is discouraging this particular developmental project to sail through.
What's the impact of the bad state of the road on the cost of transportation?
The cost of transportation is relatively high, coupled with the hard times that we have. And we all know that this particular crisis has also affected the economy. The road in itself has just added to that to make it more worse. People cannot be able to afford. I can tell you, just to get from Bimbia, that's Manawobe, to Chopfan, if they tell you the price fare of one of the bikes, to get a bike there is about 2,000 francs. Just imagine, 2,000 francs just to get into something like a half a kilometer, is to tell you how bad the road is.
No, in other places, if we talk about the Bamenda Babaju Road, for example, we talk about the Ring Road in the northwest, we talk about other roads in the interior parts of the southwest region. The fact that the roads are in a bad state or the construction works came to a halt are being attributed to the security issues. But you just said earlier that Mabeta is security-wise calm. So where's the problem?
The problem actually is with the contractor. The problem actually is with the contractor, because in 2019, when the protest, Chifekum of Zikolo came out with the people of that particular subdivision to protest against the non-execution of the contract by the contractor. The excuses, the flimsy excuses he could give was that it was insecurity. But I can tell you, we have never recorded a case in Bimbia where we could say it is a case that will really guarantee the world insecurity.
But he may be anticipating. Remember, the construction equipments of a company were set ablaze, were destroyed on the Babaju Bamenda Road. So
yes.
He may be anticipating that this is what could happen, and that will lead to a loss of millions, why not billions of...
No, first of all, if you look at even the materials, the equipments that he even brought, as someone who was awarded a giant contract of that magnitude, if you find the kind of dilapidated caterpillars that he even brought, even before then, if the caterpillars would have been set or would have to be set ablaze, it would have been set ablaze already if there was an insecurity. Coupled with the fact that the military gave him total assurance of protecting every worker to the latter in that particular subdivision, as even the DO, through the voice of the DO, the divisional officer, who gave that encouragement and that certainty to the contractor. So I don't think that it is that insecurity, as he said, because immediately after Equinoxe came and did a report that it was called by the chiefs and the elites there, the man had to bring some, I don't know if those caterpillars are working, to come and station it, they're deceiving the people that there is work that had to go on, and started doing some kind of small scraping up and all that like that, which is not, I don't see it as a work. Instead, it rather spoiled the road much more than what it was.
What are you people doing at the level of the youths? You are a youth leader, the other elite, and all the stakeholders within the community, the chief and so on. What are you people doing about the situation?
We have confronted this particular contractor to understand the reason why he has not been able to do this. We had written several correspondences to the hierarchy. The chiefs gathered themselves as a clan, the Bimbia clan, the chief of Zikolo, Chief Ekum, the chief of Bonangombe, Chief Kinge, the chief of Bonabile, and that of Mondoli, which makes up the villages in the in Bimbia. They wrote a letter right up to the Prime Ministry, asking the Prime Minister to instruct the minister that be of public works to see into this particular issue, because it is like a contract that has been awarded for non-realization. And they have also written a lot of correspondences. The DO has also done that. He has written a lot of correspondences to that effect, that they should, even if the contractor knows he's not a fit, the contract should be withdrawn from him.
All right, we hope that your voices are being heard in the right quarters, and that's something will be done sooner or later to take the people of Bimbia out of that trouble of bad roads. Thanks so much, Adolf Mambo, a youth leader from Bimbia. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today. La Presse Dispute comes up next, live from Cameroon's political capital. And after that, Equinoxe.